going to start with my basic bodice pattern. First thing I'm going to do is increase the length to the full length that I want. So this is a long dress and it's obviously reaching floor level, so that's what I'm going to do. Increase the length from the hip. I'm going to add how much I need to reach the floor level. So for the front, I'm also going to extend the dart line all the way to the end because I'm having a slit at the side. You don't really have to do this if you're not getting a slit. So next I'm going to get my under bust measurement, which is about 16 inches or a bust radius of 4 inches. So I'm going to measure that. At the front, I'll take in 1 centimeter from the dart, that is 1 centimeter from here, not the middle, from here. I'm going to extend my 1 centimeter, and then on the side front, I'm going to extend it by 1.5 centimeters. So, depending on what you like or how deep you want your bust shaping to be. Next thing I'm going to do is to get how deep I want my neckline to be. So this one I need it to be a bit lower than the across chest here, but this is solely depending on you how high or how low it is. If you want more cleavage, you can as well go for that. You can go deeper, you can go all the way to the bust line, but I'm going to be about 2 centimeters down. Next, I'll close the dart from the just going towards the back. So always I'm going to close this dart so that I can mark out where I need to do my shaping. So I can see that extended line now. I'm going to mark about, I'm going to also do the same, mark 1 centimeter towards the front and then 1.5 towards the side. Once that is done, I'm going to reshape it. So let me zoom in a bit. Close the dot, right? And now I've marked where I want to do my shaping for the bust, because anytime you're cutting off something there's going to be a bit of excess, so I'm going to use my curved ruler to shape that. Fold from this center front to the side. I'm going to mark them together so that I can shape the top lace part. I'm going to put them together. Okay, because this is a straight neckline, I won't be cutting anything. It's just going to go all the way from the front to the side. There. So at the top now, I'm going to cut. I'm not doing anything else here, so I'm going to cut all the way to the dart line. Now I'm going to close the original dart and seal it. Close this again. Tape it. Now to get the shaping for the front, I'm going to mark 1 centimeter away from the original neckline, just so it's not close to the edge. And then depending on how big you want the lace to be, so it should just be um, as far as you want or as wide as you want. So I'm just going to draw a straight line um, from that mark all the way down. So this as big as you want, it determines you it dependent on you really. Now what I'm going to do, because this place I'm going to cut it away. So for here I'm going to look for the midpoint and draw a straight line all the way to the armhole. So this, I'll draw a straight line all the way to the armhole. Now this will help me create a dart, because as I'm cutting off here there'll be a bit of excess on this line, and I want to avoid that. So I'm going to mark about 1 cm on both sides, so I'm taking away 2 centimeters. Also this depends on you, but 2 centimeters always works for me. Now I'm going to cut out the front, and then we'll get ready to do the back. For this now we have the dart. I'm going to cut one side of the dart, right? Just one side. Try not to cut all the way to the end, but if you do, that's okay. Right, and then fold it. This way. Now I'm going to sew that. So for the back, I'm going to mark my 2 centimeters at the waistline on the center back, just for the waist shaping at the back. So if you've not already done this, you can just quickly add that, because this wasn't already in the pattern. I'm going to shape that first. Then the top part of the back is also lace, so I'm going to mark about 2 centimeters below to give it a nice shape, and then use my curved ruler to attach that or to connect that. For the dart, because this is going to be separate from here, I need the back to be a bit tighter. I'm going to extend the dart line all the way to the end, and then mark 1 centimeter on both sides, and then connect it all the way to the waistline. If you'd like, you can still extend the dart line all the way to the end and cut it so you have two different separate pieces, but I'm just going to leave this like that. Also, I'm going to reshape it because this is slightly curved, so that it can match right time I sew it together. So I'm going to fold it and reshape. As you can see, they're not really matching right now. I need to my curve now. Remember that at the front we removed 1 centimeter from the neck point. I'm going to also do that here, and then I will go down about probably an inch or so, so like 1 inch, because for some reason there's always some excess at the back. So this works for me, but it works for you at the end of the day. I'm going to reshape that neckline. So I also need I'm probably going to add buttons at this side, so when I add, I'll add smaller ones for buttons, but depending on you or how you want to style the back, this part depends on you solely. So I'm going to make this open because I don't like nets having zippers in them. So I'm going to go maybe from the across back and then cut that off completely. Let's see the shape. So here there's going to be space, and here there'll be like a few tiny buttons, as you can see there. So this will give me a very beautiful shape. But anytime you cut out something, there's always going to be an excess or a gap. So I'm also going to do what I did at the front. I'm going to draw a dart to remove 1 centimeter on both sides just to keep it snatched. So I'm going to measure 1 centimeter on both sides and then retrace that. So I'm also done for the back, or for the lower half of the back. I'll cut this out. I'm going to cut this out now. Okay, so I have my lower pieces ready. I'm going to do the same thing that I did at the front. I'm going to cut one side of that dart as close to the edge as possible, and then I'm going to fold that and tape it. So after I've done that, I can retrace this on another paper, just like the front. So I'm going to get another paper, another piece of paper, and retrace this. As you can see now, there's a bit of excess, so I'm going to cut that off first so that everything is nice and smooth. I'm going to cut this. Then when I retrace the front, I'm just going to trace this side because I still need to maintain the original shape that I want. I'm going to trace the side and connect it to the side, so I'm not going this way. I'm just going to draw a straight line, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm going to trace, just going to connect it with a straight line. This is the original pattern. By the time you put them together, you see that we have removed a bit of excess. Now we've added a bit of excess to the front. Right, so my front is complete. I'm going to label center front, and then for the back, yeah, remember what I want to say is that I'm going to match the neckline because this is my front neckline right now. So I'm going to match the neckline with the back neckline and see that excess, there's a bit of excess at the back. That's because the back shoulder line or shoulder length is always longer than the front. So I'm going to mark that and then retrace it. Connect it back to the armhole. So that's my new armhole. That way the front and the back, they are matching perfectly. I'm going to cut out that part. So if you want, you can retrace it and then add your seam allowance. I'm going to cut this out. For the slit, you want to cut your pattern out, unfold, and match the size that you want your slit to be. Also determine how high you want it to be. So maybe a few inches from your hip line, or even at your knee level. That determines how high you want it, but this part is really up to you. So I'm going to select how high I want the slit to be and mark that place, and make sure that I'm marking it on the same place as the front to make sure that they are literally on the same level. And also you can do this after you've cut out your fabric, instead of cutting out the pattern since majority of the pattern is symmetrical. So now I'm going to measure about 1 inch from away from the dart line on the hem. So this is going to determine how wide I want the slit to be. You can also increase or decrease this if you like. I do the same thing on the front bodice, and then I will just draw a straight line from the mark that I want the slit to start from all the way to the end. So if you want your slit to be a lot wider, you can also increase this measurement, but I feel like this would be more elegant for me, and this was what I used. Now all I have to do is cut it out, and then I'm basically done with this. This is what your pattern should look like at the end of the day when you're done. So this is very simple and straightforward to do. This is what your back piece should look like at the end of the day, but you can also determine how we want to design it. It doesn't exactly have to be like this. At the end of the day, you're playing with it, and just do whatever you'd like. So this is what I did for this particular dress, but if you want your zipper to go all the way to the top, that's for you to decide. The sleeve of this dress is very straightforward. So first I'm going to determine the length of the sleeve, because for this one I think it's going all the way to the knuckles. So it's going way past the wrist and all the way to the knuckles. It's very long. And after I determine that, I'm going to mark out the wrist where I want the fleet to start from, right? Then I'm going to cut that out and then slash and spread it. Transfer to another paper and then draw the shape of the sleeve, because it's a flare sleeve, but it's not cut out. It's all the way from the top to the down, but the top is fitted and the end of the sleeve is flare. So that's what I'm going to do for the sleeve, and that's pretty much it. This is what your sleeve should look like at the end of the day. So by the time you sew it together, you can see the flare coming out, and that is all about this tutorial. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.